Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for joining. Everybody can hear me? Okay? Is the volume okay for everyone?
Yes, Prabhuji, I can hear you.
Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, there were some issues. I think we have sorted them now. Some technical issues. So let's make a start with Radha Madhav. Jayo Radha Madhava Jaya Kunj Bihari Jayo Radha Madhava Jaya Kunj Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Jaya Giravardhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Jaya Giravardhari Yashodanandana Vrajjana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajjana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanchari Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunj Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunj Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Om Gyantimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtham Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Sambrupa Kadameyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavcha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathamritam Tam Sajim Sadvetam Savadutam Krishna Setam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shiva Shakhanvitam Cha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kant Radha Kant Namastate Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutta Devi Pran Mami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpato Brihascha Kirpa Sindhavevacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namah Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Parcharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasdi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayan Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devi Satsvyasam Tato Jem Aduriyat Nashta Prishad Abdeshu Nityam Bhagavad-Sevayā Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhakti Neshtakhe Mukham Kroti Vachalam Phangum Nagyate Grim Yat Kirpata Mandashing Gurun Taranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tassat. Okay, so thank you so much. Right, let's share. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to try and do verses 5 to 9 today, chapter 4, the appearance of Sri Narad. And let's see how we get on. Drishtavan yantam risham atmajam api anangnam devyo hirya pradadu nasuttasya chitram tadviksha prachati munyo jagadas tavasti stripam vida natus tasya vivakta driste. So Drishtva, by seeing, Anuyantam, following, Rishim, the sage, Atamjam, his son, Api, in spite of, Anagnam, not naked, Devya, beautiful damsels, Hirya, out of shyness, Paridadahu, covered the body, no, not Sutasya, of the sun, Chitram, astonishing, Tat Viksha, by seeing that, Prashati, asking, Munyo, unto the Muni, Jagadhu replied, Tav yo asti dera, Istripum, male and female, Veda, difference is not two but Sutasya, of the sun, Vivakta, purified, Dristhe, of one who looks. So while Shri Vyasadeva was following his son, beautiful young damsels who were bathing naked covered their bodies with cloth. Although Shri Vyasadeva himself was not naked, but they had not done so when his son had passed. The sage inquired about this, and the young ladies replied that his son was purified, and when looking at them made no distinction between male and female, but the sage made such distinctions. So, well, one thing I heard was like, the females can tell the intention of especially the male when they are looking at them. Is he just looking at me like a daughter or a mother, or are they, they have bad intentions? Like, they have this quality that they can tell that, what intention this person is looking at me. I think even like from behind, somebody's behind them, they can tell that somebody is looking at me, or they have this like radar that somebody is staring at me somewhere in a bad way, So although Vyasadeva was not looking at them with that intention, but he was still distinguishing between, oh, this is a naked female. So he was probably not happy about the situation. So in either case, they had to cover themselves because he was conscious of the fact that they were not wearing any clothes. That's the thing. So in Bhagavad-Gita 5.18, it is said that a learned sage looks equally on a learned and gentle Brahman, a Chandal, a dog, or a cow due to his spiritual vision. So Srila Shukadeva Goswami attained that stage. Thus he did not see a male or female. He saw all living entities in different dress. So the body is seen as a dress rather than it's a male or a female. The ladies who were bathing could understand the mind of a man simply by studying his demeanor. Just as by looking at a child, one can understand how innocent he is. Shukadeva Goswami was a young boy, 16 years old, and therefore all the parts of his body were developed. He was naked also, and so were the ladies. But because Shukadeva Goswami was transcendental to sex relations, he appeared very innocent. The ladies, by their special qualifications, could sense this at once, and therefore they were not very concerned about him. But when his father passed, the ladies quickly dressed. The ladies were exactly like his children or grandchildren. Yet they reacted to the presence of Vyasadeva according to the social custom, because Srila Vyasadeva played the part of a householder. A householder has to distinguish between a male and female. Otherwise, he cannot be a householder. One should therefore attempt to know the distinction between body and soul without any attachment for male and female. So one therefore attempt to know the distinction between body and soul. As long as such distinction is there, one should not try to become a sannyasi like Shukadeva Goswami. At least theoretically, one must be convinced that a living entity is neither male no female. So, we should be focusing on the soul. That's the thing. We should be thinking this person is a living soul, and we should think about, the requirement to soul, what a soul is, and how we are also a soul, and, we are children of God, like that. Think on the spiritual level rather than the bodily or the material level. The outward dress is made of matter, but material nature to attract. The outward dress is made of matter by material nature to attract the opposite sex and thus keep one entangled in material existence. A liberated soul is above this perverted distinction. So, this outward dress is made of matter by material nature to attract the opposite gender. So we were supposed to be born with this blueprint in us that this is a male, this is a female, this distinguishing, and automatically this attraction to the female shape of the body for a male, and the other way around. It's a blueprint in the body that automatically, especially after reaching puberty, it automatically kicks in. It's like, it's not nobody's fault. That's how material nature has invented us. But that's material nature. The scriptures tell us what can we do on the spiritual level as well. This is a bad bargain we've got. Now, what you're going to do about it? Do you keep entangled in this bad bargain? But there is a way out. Can you do something with the instructions, with the guidelines that are given, and actually find your way out of it? Because we have been given intelligence as well, and a map to use that to get out of this entanglement. Otherwise, it's there. It's a blueprint is there, and you can stay as long as you want. Even as animals, look, the animals can distinguish between male and female as well, and I suppose the plants do the same, the insects do the same. They can distinguish. So it's a blueprint inside the living entity that distinguishes the differences. And once, Lord Chaitanya, because he was living in the society, he also had to distinguish between male and female. And I think there's something in Chaitanya Charitamrita that at one time he was in some ecstasy and he was not distinguishing between male and female, and that could nearly got him into trouble. So same with us, we are grastas, so we have to distinguish between male and female, but I think at the same time remember the male and the female, we are living souls, living entities. I think that's what the verse is trying to tell us. That remember, we're not just the body, we're also a spirit soul. So a liberated soul is above this perverted distinction. He does not distinguish between one living being and another. For him, they are all one and the same spirit. The perfection of the spiritual vision is the liberated stage. And Srila Shukadev Goswami attained that stage. Srila Vyasadeva was also in the transcendental stage, but because he was in the householder's life, he did not pretend to be a liberated soul as a matter of custom. So, it's important to maybe internally not distinguish, but externally distinguish between males. Otherwise, we can end up in trouble. So, is anything? Okay, yeah. So, yeah. So what I've got here, I think we already discussed. Next verse. Katham alikshita purihi samprapatha kuru jangalana anmat muk jadvad vicharan gaj sahavaye. So katham, how? Alakshita, recognize. Paurihi, by the citizens. Samprapatha, reaching. Kuru Jangalan, the Kuru Jangal provinces. Anmat, mad, Muk, dumb, Jadvat, stunted, Vichran, wandering, Gaj Sahavaya, which is Hastinapur. So how was he, Srila Sukadev, the son of Vyas, recognized by the citizens when he entered the city of Hastinapur, which is now Delhi, after wandering in the provinces of Kuru and Jangal, appearing like a madman, dumb and retarded. So the present city of Delhi was formerly known as Hastinapur because it was first established by King Hasti. Okay. Goswami Shukadev, after leaving his paternal home, was roaming like a madman, and therefore it was very difficult for the citizens to recognize him in his exalted position. A sage is not therefore recognized by sight, but by hearing. One should approach a sadhu or great sage not to see, but to hear him. If one is not prepared to hear the words of a sadhu, there is no profit. Sukadeva Goswami was a sadhu who could speak on the transcendental activities of the Lord. He did not satisfy the whims of ordinary citizens because they were seeing with the eyes. You have to see a sadhu with your ears. He was recognized when he spoke on the subject of Bhagavatam, and he never attempted jugglery like a magician. Outwardly, he appeared to be retarded, dumb madman, but in fact, he was the most elevated transcendental personality. So you can't judge a book by the cover, just like Judge Bharat. He looked very similar. He looked retarded, dumb, madman, until he spoke to the king, and the king, he was quite a realized person, and he recognized that Judge Bharat is he's no ordinary human being, and he took a lot of interest in hearing what he has to say, and he got more self-realization from that. And so similarly with Shukadev Goswami, outwardly it looks like some crazy kid, teenager, but when he speaks, then he's a most elevated personality. So Srila is mentioning about realized and unrealized people. So a Jamil, Prabhupada gives example of a Jamil. So a low-class couple, he saw a low-class couple in the jungle being intimate, right? He knew it was a dangerous situation. So he had some realization that it was a dangerous situation, but because he had the knowledge, but it wasn't realized. He had knowledge, but it wasn't realized by a Jamil. So he fell prey to this. So just having knowledge alone is not enough. It has to be realized in the heart. It should be solid in practice as well, not just just in memory. It should be in practice, the knowledge, so you don't fall victim to any enticement. And example, Narad Muni, Nalkwer and Manigriv were enjoying with damsels. He did not get affected by them because he was self-realized. He was a realized soul and knew the danger of Maya. So when you are convinced of the danger of Maya, then you have the realization that yes, this Maya is dangerous, I have to be careful. He in fact cursed the brothers so they could eventually become purified. So even curse was a boon. The way dress, what we say or do should reflect our respect for the temple, guests, deities, and the spiritual culture. So the way we dress and what we say, how we speak. So it's mentioned that sari was recommended by Srila Prabhupada. He mentioned that sari was recommended, so it covers the whole body. Although, sometimes the dresses are manipulated or the blouses are manipulated that they don't cover the whole body, but the idea was that the one cloth should cover you from, from shoulders down to your feet, and the blouse should be long, so they're not revealing the flesh around the back or front. Excuse me. So that was the idea with the sari, because there should be no any gratification, by the looker, by seeing the flesh of the opposite gender. Just Srila Prabhupada wanted that everybody should be clean in the mind, and there should be no enticement like that of looking at the female flesh like that. So one was keep them apart, the other was wear dresses that are subtle and revealing. And as we mentioned last week, even Krishna used to keep his gopas and gopis separate. He would meet the gopas in the daytime and meet the gopis in the evening, because his meetings with these gopas and gopis were transcendental and not on the material platform, whereas we are, we think on a material level. As we mentioned in the previous verse, no matter how hard we try, we still are thinking is still on the material level, which is hard to give up, especially Grihasthas is very hard to give up. Next verse 7. Katham va pandave yasya rajvishe munina saha samvada samabhut tat yatresha satvati shrutihi. So Katham, how is it? Va also Pandave Yasya, of the descendant of Pandu, Rajrishe, of the king who was a sage, Munina, with the Muni, Saha, with Samvad, discussion, Samabhut took place, Tat, oh darling, Yatra, whereupon, Aisha, like this, Satvati, transcendental, Shruti, essence of the Vedas. So how did it so happen that King Parikshit met this great sage, making possible for this great transcendental essence of Vedas to be sung to him? Obviously by divine intervention. Just like Shringi found out about Maharaj Parikshit's activity and what he had done to his father. So that was also divine intervention. Krishna wanted something else for Maharaj Parikshit. He had plans for him. So this was all arranged. Now Krishna, nobody can do anything. Nobody can take any action without Krishna's sanctioning, right? Or Super Soul sanctioning. Now, thing was, Maharaj Parikshit, he was an obstacle to Kali, who wanted to enter the earthly planet. Maharaj Parikshit was ready with his sword to cut his head off, if he tried to cause nuisance on the earthly planet. So Maharaj Parikshit had to go, because it was time now for Kali to serve Krishna. They're also Maya and Kali, they're also devotees of the Lord. They have a thankless job which they have to do, but it's there for a reason. And Maya and Kali or Kali Yuga, they are only detrimental to the people who are materially minded. For devotees, there's because they are devotees. If we are devotees, then we are friends, like that. So they don't disturb the devotees as long as we take shelter of Krishna. Then we don't have a problem with Maya. We don't have a problem with Kali Yuga. We don't have a problem with Shanidev. Shanidev, he punishes as well when you reach the level then he will punish you. What's that called, Shani? 7 years? Sarsati. So you have like 3 Sarsatis in a life, and Sarsati, the real life really becomes unbearable. When Sarsati takes place, you can tell a person is going through Sarsati because everything's going wrong for them. They mentally, physically, materially, life turns upside down because that at that time, Shanidev, that's his job. He's trying to bring you into straight and narrow because you have diverted, you've done many wrong things, and supposed to teach you a lesson. So you got back on the straight path. But you notice that with the devotees, it's not so as bad. Shanidev does not interfere. He's a devotee of Krishna as well. He does not interfere with devotees of Krishna. So it's very important that we take protection of the Lord in this material world, because otherwise there is a lot of things there that ready to attack us. So we need the shelter of the Lord. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is stated here as the essence of Vedas. It is not an imaginary story, as it is sometimes considered by unauthorized men. It is also called Shukha Samhita, like Brahma Samhita. This is called Shukha Samhita, after Shukadev Goswami, I guess, or the Vedic hymn spoken by Shri Shukadev Goswami, the great liberated sage. So, although it was compiled by his father, but the spoken Samhita is now dedicated to Shukadev Goswami. So that's wonderful. Okay. Like we have Bhagavad-Gita or Gita, or it's actually Gita, so the song of God, and we have Shukha Samhita. Sago dahana matram hi greshu graha medinam avakshate mahabhagas trithi kurumstad asharamam. Saha, he, which is Sukadeva Goswami, Godan Matram, only for the time of milking the cow. He certainly, Greshu, in the house, Graha Medinam, of the householders, Avakshate waits, Mahabhaga, the most fortunate, Trithi, pilgrimage, Kurvan, transforming, Tat Ashramam, the residence. He, Sukadeva Goswami, was accustomed to stay at the door of a householder only long enough for a cow to be milked, and he did this just to sanctify the residence. So wherever the sages go, they sanctify that place. If the sages are bathing in the Ganges, even that's purified. So Sukadeva Goswami met Emperor Parikshit and explained the text of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. He was not accustomed to stay at any householder's residence for more than half an hour at the time of milking the cow. And he would just take alms from the fortunate householder. So although he's taking alms, he's actually giving something back at the same time. It was there, it says fortunate householder. So it's not that he was fortunate to get the alms, it was their good fortune that they had his association, they had his presence, just like Lord Krishna when he was on this earth. It was good fortune of the people. It was good fortune of the Yadu dynasty that they had his association. So here, fortunate householder, because Sukadeva Goswami knocked at their door. That was to sanctify the residence by his auspicious presence. Therefore, Sukadeva Goswami is an ideal preacher established in the transcendental position. From his activities, those who are in renounced order of life and dedicated to the mission of preaching the message of Godhead should learn that they have no business with householders save and except to enlighten them in transcendental knowledge. So, somebody in the renounced order, he should not spend too much time with householders, because although we're not saying Shukdev Goswami, but any sannyasi, they can, their mind can start bewildering by spending time with the householder, because they see the children, they see this man has a wife, it's a temptation of Maya that it can easily bewilder even people at the highest level, that they start picturing the scenario, having a wife and children, so that they don't spend too much time, or they're not supposed to spend too much time with the householders, with the families. So they have no business with the householders save and except to enlighten them in transcendental knowledge. Such asking for alms from the householder should be for the purpose of sanctifying his home. One who is in the renounced order of life should not be allured by the glamour of the householder's worldly possessions, which include wife and children and his wealth, and thus becomes subservient to worldly men. So very important. So there's rules for everyone, not just for the gresters, not just for the bachelor students, also for the sannyasis as well. For one who is in the renounced order of life, this is much more dangerous than drinking poison and committing suicide. I mean, look at Vishwamitra, 30,000 years of meditation, and Mainika comes and destroys it in a matter of seconds. So it's very powerful. If Vishwamitra can be allured, then who are the sannyasis, and who are we to think that we can dodge Maya? It's not possible. It's very, very strong, and Maya does her job very well. She's very good at what she does. So you have to be very careful. So it says here, sannyasis spend a minimum time at any household. They are helping us to get the habit of giving. So we are giving to sannyasis, which we should do. Whenever we meet sannyasis, whenever sannyasis come, we should give them something. Get the habit of giving. So when we are giving, we are detaching ourselves from our wealth. Although we hold on to really tight, get in the habit of giving something, just to purify the householder. So how come you are spending 7 days, 7 nights here? Okay, so that's for I guess for Maharaj Shukadeva Goswami rather. Sannyasis don't allow Maya to trap them. As preachers, we are also going to people's houses. We are doing the activities of sannyasis, sanctifying their homes. We also classified as sannyasis. So because we are following the 4 regulations, and we are in the process of detaching ourselves from Maya, we're trying to think on a spiritual level. So we are also, in a way, sannyasis. When we go to other people's houses, do kirtan or preaching purposes, we should also think like sannyasis as well. That we don't think of the host is material wealth. We should just be thinking about purifying the house and its residents through the holy name and preaching. Not think about start thinking about they have a very nice house, or they have very nice this and that. Not think about that. Just think about why we are there. That's the main thing. So finally, let's quickly go through this. Abhimanya sutam sutta prahur Bhagavato-Tatamam tasya janma mahascharyam karmani chagrinhinaha. Abhimanyu Sutam, the son of Abhimanyu, which was obviously Maharaj Parikshit. Suta, O Suta, Prahu, it is said to be Bhagavat Uttamam, the first class devotee of the Lord. He sat there for 7 days, 7 nights. Just sat there listening it attentively. Tasya, his Janma birth, Maha Ascharyam, very wonderful. Karmani activities. Cha and Grinhi, please speak to us Please speak to and Naha us. It is said that Maharaj Parikshit is a great first-class devotee of the Lord. So we heard about Shukra Samhita, that how Bhagavatam is dedicated to him. So he's a first-class speaker. Now Maharaj Parikshit is a great first-class devotee of the Lord. So what a great combination. And that his birth and activities are all wonderful. Please tell us about him. So birth of Maharaj Parikshit is wonderful because in the womb of his mother he was protected by the personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. His activities are also wonderful because he chastised Kali, who was attempting to kill a cow. To kill cows means to end human civilization. He wanted to protect the cow from being killed by the great representative of sin. His death is also wonderful because he got previous notice of his death. It is wonderful for any mortal being. And thus he prepared himself for passing away by sitting down on the bank of Ganges and hearing the transcendental activities of the Lord. During all the days he heard Bhagavatam. He did not take food or drink, nor did he sleep a moment. I mean, who can do that, right? So everything about him is wonderful, and his activities are worth hearing attentively. The desire is expressed hearing to hear about him in detail. So it seems we're going to discuss Maharaj Parikshit, we're discussing Narad Muni later on, and Vyasadev, all these big personalities in here. So 4.9. So Srila Prabhupada explains that materialists are killing the cows. We are all having the impact. Maharaj Parikshit got 7 days notice. We don't always get that, and he stopped killing Kali, beating the cow. So, because as I mentioned that he was interfering with the service of Kali, it was his time now. It was Kali Yuga. It's time for Kali to do his service, and Maharaj Parikshit was interfering with service. So he found a way to get rid of Maharaj. But like I said, Krishna had planned for him anyway. He said, that's fine. You're going to give this body and this life and your position, but I have a wonderful service for you before you go, because you're my devotee. I have a service for you. And what a service he had. Without him, we would not have heard Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Sutta Goswami would not have heard Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So Krishna arranged everything. So, because, I mean, if the sages know that Kali Yuga is here, then obviously Krishna, he arranges everything. So he knows Kali Yuga is here, and he arranged for us that Bhagavatam is here and for our protection. So thank you all so much. Thank you for joining. And I'd like to hear, welcome Padre Prabhu. I don't know whether you're still in India or you're here, but I'd like to hear from you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you.
All good to Srila Prabhupada. Please accept my humble obeisances. Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji, for reciting all wonderful verses. So today morning we were reading Madhya Leela chapter 3. Chapter 3. So where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is displaying a real behavior of a sannyasi. So sannyasi is not by the way they dress up, but the more one becomes sannyasi, the more he becomes spiritual and always engaged in serving the Supreme Lord. So I mean, according to Varna and Ashrama, we have different rules and regulations, and some rules may not be applicable to a householder, whereas it is applicable to a sannyasi. So sannyasi who can see everybody equally. So Sukadeva Goswami, by birth itself, he is renunciated. So when he ran, the ladies did not cover themselves because they could see him as highly elevated and also very childish behavior as well. So for a child, he doesn't differentiate between a man, woman. So Sukadeva Goswami is so innocent as well, but at the same time he is highly elevated where he doesn't differentiate. He he just look at the soul level, but not at the bodily level. That's what I understand. And like as we said in Bhagavad-Gita, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne. So the more the knowledge you get, the more humble you become, and the more elevated you are into Varna and Ashrama, you become more and more spiritual, and start seeing everything equally. And as we have in English proverb, like where you cannot judge book by its cover. So it is not by the dress, but it's only when you hear from the sage, we can actually know about the sage, not by their appearance, not by his appearance as such. Sometimes we also fall into delusion, like when a person is giving a class, we just look at the person and think that okay, he may not. I'm normally when I listen to any class, Prabhuji, so I surf through YouTube instead of listening to them for 5-10 minutes. So I just surf, okay, this person may not be the right one, Miss Western. But actually, I should have given from 5 times and listened to everyone, because everybody who is giving class, they are all elevated only. There is not a joke actually here. They are following the discipline succession. So at least in Iskcon, when he's having a guru, we have to listen to everybody. Never judge a person by appearance, but by listening to them. And sages come to the places that they won't stay, even they stay hardly for a time which is given nicely as how much time you need to milk a cow, only that much time they stay. So in Telugu we have a proverb like sahvasa dosham. So if you spend 6 months with somebody, he may become the other person may become him. So chances of becoming that side is more for us, like materially in material world we are always attracted by few things. So if we start talking to some person, maybe we start initially about devotional thing, but slowly it will go into all material things. I mean, how big their house is, how much their salary is, so many things will happen. So better not to engage in discussion for more time. That's why I see like some of our senior devotees in our Iskcon Birmingham itself, when they come to home also, they just have prasad, finish the class and leave immediately. Sometimes, I mean, maybe they have urgent work, or maybe they are elevated as well, that not to engage in other discussion, rather move away quickly. Maybe that could be the reason. And Parishad Maharaj is showing us the way how to face the death. So even though he know that he is going to die in 7 days, and he was listening to Sukadev Goswami of 7 days without eating, without drinking. So again, it says here that if the listener is good and the preacher is good, then the discussion will be so good. So that's why all the sages who are part of the discussion, like even Saunaka Maharshi was also listening to them when Parishad Maharaj was being told by Sukha Maharshi, I think. So that discussion is more important for us. Even I felt like, so how much you are close to Guru and how much you're sincere to your Guru can actually identify right things in you. But if you are not listening to Guru and you are spending your own time, even though you are having Guru can't help unless you serve Guru sincerely by heart. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, thank you so much. Very good insights, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Kiran Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, everybody. Just a few things. I think the Bhagavatam gives us really deep insights, realizations, and reflections. And just these verses about having that spiritual vision, having the purity of vision, and that drasti being very pure will enable the individual to progress. It's clear people know what people's motives are just by the looks, and hence these elevated souls who are sannyasis and even us as Vaishnavas, we're developing or trying to be very censored in the way we deal with the opposite sex so that we don't give the wrong motives, the wrong intentions. And I'm so glad that in our Hindu custom that we have separations when we go to temples. There's a queue for women, there's a queue, there's the seating areas. So there isn't that coming together where there's that distraction. And that distraction takes us away from the purpose. I'm so glad that generally we do not come in the presence of many fallen sannyasis, gurus, etc. in this movement. I'm sure there must have been. And hence, because their vision and their drishti was distorted. And hence, we must be very mindful of our keeping that gender differences and being aware that our vision is pure. And hence, this is the difference between a liberated soul and a conditioned soul. A liberated soul will have pure vision and the ability to go in the right direction. A liberated soul will wear clothes in a way. Well, he knows that just by wearing saffron doesn't mean to say you are an elevated soul. You could be an elevated soul just in your daily clothes. You cannot judge a book by its cover, as you said, but those things, the way we present ourselves, cleanliness and next to godliness, is so important. And I think Prabhupada also made a very, very clear thing that why we keep falling down back to this rebirth is because of our pre-obsession with the opposite sex and sexual natures, and hence we cannot control our senses, and that's why we return back to the cycle of birth and death. Vishwamitra, 30,000 years of meditation was disturbed by ankle bells. Wow, that's only 30,000 years, but Vishwamitra is just one example. What about the distractions we've had? It is because of those distractions that we are here time and time and time and time again. And hence, I think Vishwamitra is a good example, but we should be an example to ourselves and to each other to say, we are fallen souls, and that's why we still walk this Maya, this earth, because we still haven't found the way home. Hopefully, we are on the journey home because Krishna gives us the example that being with the opposite sex at night was fine because he was with the gopis, and in the daytime he was with the boys. So, there's an etiquette that comes from these scriptures which are so, so powerful that there's so much learning even in the 5 verses we've learned today. And, I'm so glad I'm born in this tradition as opposed to any others. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Ravi. Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, as Brahmanas have a responsibility, and Shringi, he tarnished the reputation of the Brahmanas by his act. The Brahmanas were no longer respected after that as much as they were before. Sannyasis, they have to be very careful that they represent the sannyas ashram, and if they fall down, then that sort of dilutes the sannyas ashram, and especially if you representing Iskcon, even as a sannyasi or as a householder devotee, we have a responsibility to make sure that the name of Iskcon is not tarnished in any way by our behavior, our actions. Very important. We're representing Iskcon, we're representing Srila Prabhupada, we're representing Lord Krishna. We're known as the Hare Krishnas. So if the Hare Krishnas are messing about, doing wrong thing, then the Hare and Krishna, they're both getting a bad reputation, and we can't allow that. So we should be very mindful of that for ourselves. And it is our good behavior that attracts a neophyte to enter the mission, by our good behavior. If we are behaving badly, then anybody new coming in will just think, well, they're not better than anyone else. Why should I be wasting my time here? and they have so many, can't eat this, can't eat that, but yet they behave like ordinary people, and they don't have any control. Then why go through all that pain, which makes pain when nothing changed anyway. So we have to show that we have got somewhere by this process. That's the main thing. We have to show that we have achieved something, and our senses are in control. We are in control, and we are progressing, and that is inspiration to new people. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hari Bol. Hina Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Glories to Srila Prabhupada. I think for me, Prabhu's have already covered off some of the key points, which were great, which were well explained. I think for me, I'm taking away the point around how a liberated person or a brahmana looks at everyone with an equal vision and is able to see them as a soul and not make any judgments based on their external appearances. And I think this, for me, is something I still, one I need to work on, not just to see every living being as a jiva, as a soul, but also to remember that actually the Lord Himself is also present as the Paramatma. And if I can remember that, then I can hopefully treat everybody with the same level of respect. And the other point was around how a great sage is recognized through hearing from them. And that just kind of made me think of a saying about that a fool is known by his speech. So one's words and actions reveal their true nature, especially a level of wisdom or lack of it. So those for me were key for today. Thank you so much. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. We get carried away. We see people, oh, he's short, he's fat, he's like this. His mind is just stupid. Just see people, and we start judging them, from the external. So yeah, it's and I have experience when they speak and they say things. Oh, say, oh wow, this person is so knowledgeable and seems realized like that. You start having respect for them, but you see them from a distance, and I think, oh, who's this, and like that. And we just make up our own judgment. So it's just automatic. We have this thing, on default, almost like that. Thank you so much. Praveen Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, and Pranam. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, we were brought up with the saying, simple living and high thinking. But I think, like, with the Kali Yuga, another defect is, like, you're judged materially, how you're dressed, how you, by your house, this and that. So, which is very wrong. So, all the efforts are wasted, like dressing up and working unnecessarily hard to earn money, which is just lost in going to restaurants, going holidays, expensive holidays, rather than serving Krishna. So for me, again, like you said, protection of the Lord is very important, and that we can only have if we serve the Lord. And again, the verse, Vidya Vinay Sampanne.
Mataji, okay. You there? Can't hear you now.
Yeah. I think there's problem with our internet. We were having problem this morning as well. Sorry. Yeah, so we just have to see everyone the same. And we see, so how Sukhdev Goswami, people were taking him for a madman, and same for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as well. Because when he was in ecstasy, people were thinking like he's a madman, because they're not on material platform. And even now, because people, when you're in bhakti, other people, they just take you as probably, they've gone mental or something. So something's wrong, like I went to India and my sister like hinted me, hey Mala Waliya, and she just laughed. So, but nothing to be ashamed of, but it gave me, I felt proud, Mala Wali, because then we are belonging to Krishna. So that is something to be proud of. And I was thinking how
Yeah, I keep losing you, Mataji.
but it's teaching us about everything, eating, sleeping, dressing, about the relationships, how, to have, so which is so good. Every chapter we're reading, we're learning something about our day-to-day life as well, how we should conduct things. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, sorry. I don't know what the internet is playing. Hare
That's
Krishna.
fine. Thank you so much. Yeah, and if things come easily, then that's fine. We shouldn't over endeavor for things, especially wealth. We should not over endeavor. But if it's coming, then it's all good. We just have to remember that whatever we have, it belongs to Krishna. Our brains, our knowledge, our body, the instrument that we use to earn the wealth, it also belongs to Krishna. And if we have wealth, then we use it in Krishna's service. Prabhupada gives example that milk can sometimes give you bowel problems, but the same milk in the form of yogurt can cure that illness. So it's still milk, but used differently can be good for us, and used in the wrong way can be detrimental to us. So money, if you have it, you can use in Krishna's service. You can help the temple. You can go, instead of holidays, go on a pilgrimage. Go to temples, see temples, and visit places, because we need money at the end of the day to do anything. You're going to book a hotel, you want to eat, you want to catch a flight, you need that money. So money is not the problem. It's how we use it, but at the same time, we don't over endeavor to get material things. That's all. Thank you so much, Mataji. Jasmine, I'm assuming that you're listening only, and please keep joining. Nice to have you. And I think Brother Ran.
Yes, Hare Krishna, everyone. My pranams to all of you. Yes, it's a very high demand from the scriptures, from us, the jivas of Kali Yuga. We have our faults, and we are being tested always by Maya. Maya comes to us, Maya is with us, and she wants us to be spent in the right way, for the right purpose. And Krishna has given us her mind. Mind is to learn from the scriptures, and not to use our mind in judging others. Okay, if we are not getting along with somebody, we can just keep distance from them. That's the best thing. But still, our mind, it troubles us in its own way. So there are lots of tests for us, but there are solutions. But we can't be very hard on ourselves as well. We will progress slowly. We will understand. We'll make slow steps, and how we are going to learn and imbibe these qualities into us. It's not going to happen in maybe not even one lifetime, or maybe in one lifetime. It all depends how Krishna is going to give us the causeless mercy, how he's going to let Krishna be the judge. Let Krishna judge our efforts, how we tried in this lifetime. But I, as a female, think that bhakti is very hard for women, because women can be very sentimental, and they can take on bhakti very easily. But at the same time, women get attracted by the Maya. Everything in the world out there is for women. If you see practically in the shops, only a small designated place is for the men to buy the clothes. Everywhere, everything else in the shop is for the ladies. So as ladies, it's easy for us, it's difficult for us. So more tests for us, and for men as well. They have got their senses, like female have got their senses. So life is difficult for everyone. I shouldn't say, but I think as a female, our responsibilities are more than men in some ways. Because men they can just jump, they can do tapa easily, they can do austerity easily. Their bodies are meant for that. Our bodies are not that strong. We get tired, we get fed up, if we have to do a lot of austerity. So yes, let's do whatever we can, and coming here, listening to the Bhagavatam classes and reading and sharing with each other, that is going to take us a long way in future. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, and thank you all so much for sharing your thoughts and your insights, and we'll catch up again on Wednesday. So Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada. Gaur Premanande. Hare.
All.
Yeah, Prabhuji, just a quick question. I don't know if you'll be able to hear me. But in olden days, was it not like the men mostly doing bhakti and women was looking after the house and supporting the husband?
Yeah, that was the, yeah. So just by supporting the husband, that's the Vedic way of doing things. That the men do the austerity and everything, and the wives support them. Just by that, that they get the benefit. And also mentioned in the Vedas that the wife gets half of the benefit of the husband anyway, whatever he's doing, she gets that. And I guess that's like Radharani just mentioned, because it is difficult for the ladies to, their bodies are not built that way that they can do a lot of austerity and do a lot of tapasya, but so they get the benefit of the husband's, if he's doing some properly, and then he will get benefit, she will get benefit from that as well. But yeah, it's important that she supports the husband. But nowadays, is things a little bit different. But yeah, originally that was the idea, that the wife supports the husband in what he's doing, because it just makes the service a lot better if you have support to do it. And there should be no competition between husband and wife. They should not be competing. Oh, I can do this better, and better than you. That should be that. The wife should be complementary to the service, and the husband obviously should be serving properly, and the wife should be supporting him. But like I said, that sometimes is not today's society is not seeing the husband or wife, or who's in charge. I don't know. So yeah, things are a little bit different nowadays. And Srila Prabhupada recognized that, and he gave the opportunity to the ladies as well, to do all the different services. And I mean, Srila Prabhupada's time, the Matajis, they played a big role while Srila Prabhupada was here. They played a big role in, wherever he went, everything was set up by lady, the cooking, the flowers, everything. They were involved in a big way. They are, the Prabhupada saw the female as very important to the society of Iskcon, to play the role. But like I said, we shouldn't compete husband and wife. It can be done in the Vedic way, where the wife supports the husband, then she'll get the benefit anyway. The benefit is there.
But Prabhupada, you haven't given any concession to the ladies then, because we have to do 16 rounds as well, like a man. So there's no concession.
I cannot get away from 60 rounds, but the 64 rounds, and he brought it to 32.
Yeah, no, I'm just joking, Prabhupada. Yeah, thank you.
When he says that the body is meant, for tapasya, chanting is very important, and even children can do 16 rounds if they put their mind to it. They can.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying it.
I know what to say. That where's the concessions, but yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.